So you're wondering what it's really like to sell insurance, and you're looking for some real life perspective on deciding if selling insurance is for you or not. And that's exactly what I'm going to do in this business. My name is David Duford. I have been an insurance agent licensed since 2011. I have built a national insurance agency since 2013. I've recruited more than 3,000 agents to sell insurance products like final expense, Medicare, annuities, and ACA. And the only reason I'm telling you this is because I know what it's like not only to recruit agents to be successful in this business, but also what it was like for me when I first started in 2011 as an insurance agent trying to find my way in life as an agent. And the purpose of this video is try to convey what my experiences have been for this decade-plus long career that I've been in, to give you kind of a no BS look at what this business is like without the typical Kool-Aid drinking rah-rah you probably have kind of sensed. So without further ado, let's kind of jump right in. And let me kind of, before we do that, explain what you're going to see. We're going to first talk about what the activity is that you're going to be doing as an insurance agent. We're going to talk about the reality of this business as far as what to expect, what you can not only expect in good, but also the bad side of the business as well. And then I'm going to leave you with a couple of pro tips that you really need to consider before you jump in. Again, so many people make the wrong decisions in this business when joining an agency and picking product to sell. And what I want to take some time with is just to give you a couple of kind of like, you know, what Uncle Dave here would tell you if you were my nephew or my son, in order to give yourself the best chance of success. So number one, what is the activity insurance agent? What can you expect? So first of all, it is sales, okay, y'all? Like being an insurance agent is selling, right? So think of yourself as a salesperson. The difference is we're selling something that's pretty neat, that actually affects positively most of the people that we see. It's not a product that's hard to sleep over because we're screwing people. Typically, insurance is a good thing that helps people overall. And the process of selling is pretty straightforward. As an agent, what you're going to be doing, either on a remote basis, so you can sell this over the phone, or digitally on Zoom, or in person, the traditional way absolutely works still. Even with COVID and the concerns there, it still works very, very well. It's pretty simple what you do. You're going to get in front of somebody, either digitally or remotely or in person. You're going to create a connection with them, get to know them a little bit, just try to get their trust and likability intact from them. Then you're going to ask some questions to figure out, okay, what's your problems? How can I help you? What's your current situation? Sometimes we refer to this as a fact-finding session. Then we begin to qualify the client on health to make sure that they are actually eligible for coverage. Most insurance products, not all, but most insurance products require their health be intact to a certain level in order to qualify for the policy. Then we begin a fact-finding or explanation on how our products work in comparison to others to better position why somebody would want to buy from us. And then lastly, we do what's called closing, which is essentially ask for the sale. And then if there's any pushback, do what's called objection rebuttals in order to overcome those objections and to still get the sale. Now, that's kind of how it sounds when we're in the sale doing this. And truly what we're doing day to day is that as much as humanly possible. Again, your success being that in most cases, not always, but in most cases, insurance sales is a straight commission job. You may have opportunities to get wages, but still, even if you're earning a wage, or even if this is straight commission for you, your success in this business is about doing what I just described, doing that what we call a presentation, a multitude of times, over and over week, month over month, and for years and years. And it's not really a interesting, creative business. It's actually, in many ways, as you get into it, kind of boring, because you simply repeat the process, what I've just described, over and over again, and in order to help people to sell them a policy, to make your commission, and scale that as much as humanly possible. Now, let's talk about some realities of this business, okay? Again, this is not a fluff piece. I've been doing this a long time. I'm the no BS guy in this business, so I want you to understand the good, bad, and the ugly. So number one, you got to start early and work late, all right? So for me personally, and this is if you want to have success in this business, most agents, some of them start late and end early. That is a recipe for disaster in this business. To be successful, you got to start early and work late. It's just like anything in life, guys. You know, you got to go out there and work. I think it was Ben Feldman that says this is a job that requires a half day's worth of your energy. It's just what half of the day do you want to work, the first 12 hours or the last 12 hours? And there's some definite truth to that. And over time, one of the things about insurance that's great is that as you pick certain products that develop passive income, you may not have to work a lot, but you need to expect as you get into this to work and work and work. It's what develops your skill set, what separates you from the pack, your competition, because most people are lazy and you got to get up early and work late. I used to get up maybe at 5 in the morning, be out in my car at 6:30, drive to a place by 8 o'clock, an hour and a half away. I didn't have to, but I like to drive to get out into the better areas to sell. And I'd start at 8 o'clock and work all day and wouldn't be home till 9 or 10 o'clock at night. These are in my formative years as an agent when I was my most successful, actually. But this is the price you have to pay. You're going to have to work long hours. Now, you can start this business part-time, but understand that if you, just like anything in life, if you want to be extraordinary, you've got to do things that are extraordinary, like work, like pay the price to sacrifice. It's definitely a sales position, guys. If you're not the kind that likes to sell or convince or persuade, this isn't for you. This is a business that you want to create connections. You got to be a people person, but you got to be willing to take people and lead them to the point of buying a policy from you. If you're coy about this process, if you don't like the idea of asking people to do something for you, this is not the business for you. You have to be willing to tell them to buy from you, essentially. And if you're not going to do that, they won't buy. Most people aren't like, well, here's my checkbook, take it. They're kind of waiting on you to close them, as we say. So you got to be willing to do that if you want to have success in this business. You got to find people to talk to, okay? And what do I mean by that? Well, a sales position requires what's called prospects. These are people or candidates that fit the bill of who we try to sell that have some level of interest. Now, there's different ways to do this depending on the insurance product you sell. You can prospect cold, where you pick up the phone or door knock, or do something like that to find prospects. You can work your network, your extended friends and family, if you're into that kind of thing. A lot of people don't like to do that. That's fine. Or you can do like what a lot of our agents do at Duford Insurance Group, my agency, is buy leads where people have expressed interest so that you don't have to cold call or rely on referrals. That requires your investment of money, of course. The others don't necessarily. But either way, you have to have a system to get in front of people. You can be the greatest salesperson, have the best product in the world, but if you don't have a system to get in front of prospects, it's all for nothing. You will not succeed. You will fail. You've got to understand also that you're going to hear more of the no's than you are of yeses. In other words, there is a paradox of success in selling insurance. It's that you're going to get rejected more often than you're going to be accepted. But again, the paradox is that the expense or the outcome of no's really pale in comparison to the outcomes of yeses. As you hear yes more often, that's usually a very big yes, profitably speaking, whereas each no is very low in cost, although it can start to psychologically drain us. But understand, you have to accept that paradox. For example, in baseball, the best hitters have a 300 batting average. That means they miss 70% of the time. You're a Hall of Famer like Cal Ripken if you have a 300 batting average the entirety of your career. So long story short, guys, accept the fact that this is going to be difficult, and you're going to hear no a lot more than you hear yes, but that is totally normal, and that's what top producers experience as well. And the last thing here to cover, too, is that the vast majority of agents do fail. If I look at the view count of this video and I think and hope that it's mostly insurance agents, I know that 90% of those agents will fail out of the business. And that is not to be negative or to be, a Debbie Downer. It's just reality. You're in a position where, again, you're in a performance-based business. Only the strong survive. Only those people who get out there and execute at the relevant activity and consistently do it and train to prepare are the ones that are going to have the best chances of success. Again, as it is in life, the minority are the ones who have the best success, and the vast majority don't for a lot of reasons. But in this case, a lot of it is because of a lack of training, a lack of support, a lack of a sales and marketing system. And again, with due diligence, et cetera, as we'll talk about to round it out, you can overcome that millstone that's around every single agent's neck when they first start and not become another statistic. And the last thing I'll say here, as you do your due diligence in getting into this business, first of all, I assure you this is an awesome business. It's absolutely worth considering doing. I'm so glad I stumbled into it after I failed out of my personal training business. It was the last thing I ever wanted to sell, but I'm so thankful that I arrived here. But there's two things I want you to do, whether you look at joining my agency or not when it comes to this business. Again, it's worth the investment and time. Number one, you got to pick the right product. So there's a lot of different products out there. A lot of people will tell you have to sell a multitude of products to be successful. That is not true. The best thing you can do as a new agent is to pick a product like final expense or Medicare and become a master of that product and do nothing else and go all in and triple down on getting that deep knowledge of what's necessary to be successful. If you start to disseminate your focus between different products, you won't be as effective and you probably will be a failure like most people in this business. And number two, very, very, very important, is understand, I made reference to this in the beginning, is that the culture in most of the agencies out there, it's all about the multi-level marketing, Kool-Aid drinking, rah-rah. When, in other words, what a lot of these insurance agents nowadays want you to do is recruit anybody with a pulse. They care more about you recruiting than they care about your ability to sell successfully with consistency. This is a huge problem in this business and is one of the reasons why so many agents fail, is because they get caught up in a system that sounds really good but doesn't have the actual context to help a newbie become successful in the business. So make sure as you do your due diligence and investigate agencies, that you check out their credentials. Are they MLM based? Do they talk a lot about recruiting? Or do they talk about selling successfully? These are things you're going to have to personally vet in order to see if they're a good fit. So that's a day in the life of an agent. It's really a career of an agent and the decisions you've got to make to get started, and some reality as well to swallow. Again, you want to see the good and the bad and the ugly whenever you look at an agency, and I hope this video helped with that. And I invite you, if you'd like to see what we do at Duford Insurance Group, simply go over to davidduford.com/FAQ. You'll learn a lot about the different products we sell, how our market works, how our lead system works, to see if it's a good fit for you, and you'll see what to do afterwards if it is. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for your time. See you.